What should parents realize about teachers celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? I'm Emily Fort with the Homeschool Freedom Coalition, and I'm here to bring you a couple of points today about what parents should realize and what action needs to be taken by parents in light of the recent events surrounding all the teachers and professors and everybody celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. I want to speak plainly today about something that shocked many of us, and it was the flood of teachers celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. When I saw the first few videos and posts, my first thought was, if this is what they're saying in public, what are they saying to our kids in the classroom, right? And that's where we need to pause, I think, and recognize four hard truths, things that are uncomfortable to think about, obviously. First, I think we need to admit to ourselves that these teachers are just the tip of the iceberg. The ones who cheered his death weren't outliers. They were simply the ones bold enough or reckless enough to say it out loud right away. Because, of course, the first few made the headlines, but after that, word had gotten out there might be consequences this time. Historically, they've gotten away with this stuff, but this time we might actually have to answer for our behavior. So I would say we should rest assured that for every teacher who posted on social media, there are dozens more who harbor the same anger and bitterness, the same contempt for conservatives, for Christians, for anyone who dares to stand against the system. We would be pretty naive to think this is a fringe problem. I think it's systemic. I think it's become cultural. And I think that's obvious because you see that exact attitude in all of our young people. I think the second point I would make is that these people aren't safe around children. Think about it. If a teacher can mock or celebrate the violent death of a father or husband in broad daylight, what does that tell you about their character and their heart? And most importantly, what if they realize that your child shares some of the same opinions as Charlie Kirk? I think we all want to think that that's happening in another school somewhere else or in a radical city or, if you live in San Francisco, of course that's happening. But the fact that over 180 teachers in Texas got, posted so quickly before the word went out not to do this, that if there's 180 in Texas, there is no place that doesn't have this happening. And if you think about it, we like to think that our kids are safe and being, well loved and well cared for and all this stuff. And it's like you have teachers that would celebrate if one of their heroes, a lot of our kids looked up to Charlie Kirk, right? I'm a little older than him, but it's like a lot of young people looked up to Charlie Kirk, as we now know. And it's like, if your kid's teacher would celebrate the murder of your kid's heroes right in front of them, I think the illusion that our kids are safe and being, spirit nourished emotionally and physically, whatever else you're looking for, if you have this thing in your head that your student is being carefully shepherded by a loving individual who cares about their long-term success and happiness, I think that can be flushed. That idea is a pipe dream and we need to let it go. The third thing I would say is we cannot be fooled by the institutions that are scrambling to silence them. When we see school districts, teachers unions, and universities rushing to put out statements that, this isn't acceptable, I don't think we should believe they were outraged at evil. I think they were doing damage control. They know that when the public sees the mask slip, trust in their system is crumbling, right? So when they know that when parents see parents or teachers in their own district saying and doing this stuff, that even more kids are going to leave. So I believe they condemned a few of the voices, put out the word that everyone should be quiet, suspended a few accounts, and hoped the scandal passed. But here's the truth. This is the worldview of the system itself. The rot is not in a few bad apples. They certainly did not root them all out. They just silenced them. The rot is in the whole tree. Okay. And that's controversial, even in homeschooling, to say that. It's controversial to say that, there's not a few bad apples in the school system, but I'm going to say it, and I have no problem saying it. At this point, we have a few good apples left. Okay. That we need to have a paradigm shift on that. It's time to stop thinking, there's a few radical teachers, and we need to start thinking there might be a few left that are not, because it's just statistically true. If you look at the output, like the kids they're putting out, and even just the last 10 years, look at the voting records of most college graduates. Look at the the demographics of voting and who's involved in political campaigns and who's donating to political fights. It's like they have turned so many millions of kids into themselves. And so you don't have to wonder, is this a one-off? Is there just a couple of them? No, they have systemically turned so many millions of kids into radicals just like themselves. So that's how you know it's not a few bad apples. It's part of the system. And it's baked in the cake, if you will. There's no getting away from it. And so that leads directly to my fourth point. And that's, I don't think our kids need to be in those schools anymore. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I think it's time to pull our kids out. I don't think there is any reform strong enough, no policy tough enough, no good teacher noble enough to shield our children from the decay in public education. This isn't about test scores. It's not about curriculum choices. This is about the souls of our kids. And when a system is run by people who openly despise everything we hold dear, the only choice I think that's left to parents is to bring their kids home, or at least out of that system, okay? And that's why I think homeschooling is not just like an educational choice. It's an act of resistance. You know, everybody's saying, you know, after Charlie Kirk, no violence, we want peace, let's not join them. I totally agree. None of us want violence, but we do have to do something. And the number one thing you can do to resist this, what they're doing in our civilization, is to take your kids away from them. Homeschooling is fundamentally saying, you will not have my child. You will not shape their loves, their loyalties, or their worldview. And I think it's time, the iceberg has surfaced, the mask has slipped. The choice is never, ever been more obvious. For the sake of our children, it's time to bring them home. Now, I usually end most videos saying, homeschooling or freedom starts at home, but it's true. Freedom starts at home. These are not the people we should trust with our children's hearts and minds. Or their education. They're not even being educated. We're not even talking about academics. Why on earth would we think that our kids are safe under the instruction of people that would celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk? We have to be done with it. We have to resist. We have to fight back. And the way we fight back is taking back our children. So again, freedom starts at home. Stay free. Stay the course.